silence, hearing the sunset of my life. I've been walking through the darkness with your ghost by my side. How I've tried, but never can stop the pain I feel. I have tried so hard, but the wounds never heal. Now the time has come for one last goodbye. As I raise my head and gaze up to the skies, I have tried in vain, but this is the end. We will meet again. I will be again. Mother, these are the final words I'll write. I know they're full of sadness. I know they'll make you cry. How I've tried to hide the truth of my despair. The sadness kept on calling, drowning out my prayers. There's no place for me. I'm torn apart, and I wish I could have made things better. Now the time has come for one last goodbye. As I raise my head and gaze up to the skies, I have tried in vain, but this is the end. We will meet again. I will be again. There's no place for me, and deep inside, this pain won't last forever. Now the time has come for one last goodbye. As I raise my head and gaze up to the skies, I have tried in vain, but this is the end. We will meet again. I will be again. We will meet again. I will be again.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to. Oop, hold on, wait. There we go. There, now they can see us. See us, finger quotes. Hey, everyone, welcome to episode 36 of the Dark Life Podcast. It's me, Dark Fox, and with me, as always, every other week, and then, every other week, I'm with Liv, because it's on his channel, is Liv. Hi. That was totally planned, not messy.
As always, great to be here. Because it's fun.
Hell yeah. Super fun. Oh man, first one of the new year. Hell yeah.
I sometimes keep forgetting that whenever the calendar rolls over. I always keep. You're just so used to like the previous year, and then
Mm.
when it rolls over, it's like you got to transition.
Yeah, well, sure doesn't feel like 2020's over.
No, no, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. And that honestly really came out of left field, because I'm pretty sure like me and everyone else was like, please God, let this be over. And it was like, okay, it's done, it's done. And then what happened? Oh, okay, okay. But apparently, 2021 looks like it is just continuing.
Yep.
It's so yeah. There you go.
New year, same problems.
I was about to say new year, same shit. Yes,
Uh,
100%.
yeah, just like normal. So just business as usual.
Yeah, yeah. This is the new norm. Absolutely.
Oh God. On that
I
note,
know.
I is there any gaming news? I don't really think like this isn't around the time where there's usually any like December's more
Yeah,
so movies or
there's
stuff like that.
definitely gonna be a drought gaming wise, so there's probably ain't gonna be any gaming news and updates. The only thing that I've heard, and I believe this is rumor, but this is only because reasons. I thought I actually heard there is potential Cyberpunk DLC in the mix, and it's like, okay, can you fix the game first, please, before we go on to expansions, please? Just throwing that out there. So it's rumor, but I hope to God it's not on the freaking goddamn. It better not be up for release because we still have to fix the game.
I
Just saying.
mean, I mean, Ark was Ark Survival Evolved was like still early access when they released its full price DLC, which was half of what the game was worth. And it's like it was early access still. It's like,
Right.
but you're still making the game still. And then didn't it come out on Xbox too? Like it came out on console when it was still early access.
I'm not too familiar. I mean, I think I know Arc, but it's one of those. It really wasn't my kind of type of thing, so I haven't been following it. But I think it may have released on Xbox, but don't quote me.
Well, it did. I know it was had a console release. I'm just trying to remember if that was
Right.
during what was still in early access, which is like that was a
Yeah, and I
huge
see what you
thing
mean. Yeah.
in like gaming news where it's like, well, is this suddenly going to be the norm? Like early access games suddenly strapping on full price DLCs even though they're still early
Yeah.
access? It's like e- uh, DLC is like or it's a DLC an add-on or is an add-on something different? I don't know if they're are those interchangeable terms?
Uh, I. It's one of those things to where it's like, t- there's the way. I want to say there's the way like a gamer would say it, and then there's like the actual like what a someone in PR would classify it as.
Oh,
So
yep, that's fair point.
so like I mean I think for me it depends on the DLC, I guess, because I think because if it's like skins, I mean, technically, that wouldn't that be also classified under loot boxes? So then you got to think, well, is it technically loot boxes? But then there's also the case. But then there's also the case of like a new map. Okay, now that's a little different. I'll call a new map like classified under like actual DLC, and I would kind of maybe be more of like me personally. I think I would classify it as like an add-on personally, but yeah, it's so hard to get in those terms because like it could be all over the place because there is what a fan would say and then there's what someone in PR would say.
Yeah, I have a
So
sneaking suspicion that the terms aren't consistently used.
yeah, I agree.
I love things like that where it's like so confusing. It's like you're
Mhm.
trying to do the right thing, but no one knows what the fuck the right thing is.
No.
It's just like they say like several different things, and it's like they're all equally right and all equally wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
Ugh. But yeah, I don't think we'll get much. Doesn't I can't remember when in the year E3 happens. Or
It seemed like that's closer to summertime,
oh,
but I
that's
don't
in the
know
summer.
when
I can't ever
specifically.
remember. It's it's one of those things where it's like it happens the same time every year, and I pay attention to it when it's like, oh, E3, and I'm like, oh, I pay passing attention to it, but I don't ever remember what it is. It's like
Yeah, I'm kind of in that same boat.
it's like forgetting Christmas, except you can't forget Christmas.
Yeah, yeah, that's just something that's not for good.
Yeah, no one will let you forget Christmas, whether you celebrate it or not.
Mm-hmm. 100%.
Uh, but I'm trying to think if there's any news with any of the big games I play, but not really. No. Apparently, there's been some more Star Wars news, allegedly. I haven't looked into it yet, but probably something to do with the new High Republic stuff. The new like 400 years before Episode 1 stuff they're doing, which would be interesting to see. And people I like that people say like 400 years is not a lot of time, but it's like how much could possibly change in 400 years? If you take a 400 block years in just like anywhere in our human history, what the world looked like at the beginning and then at the end of those 4 centuries is completely different and very much different. It's like for, yeah, I guess, on a galactic scale, you can think, oh, 4 centuries isn't a long time, but that's just, it's still a long time. Just because it's like a, a galaxy you're looking at instead of a small planet doesn't mean things don't happen.
Right.
But anyway, tiny rant, tiny re-rant, re, re, um, oh god, um, yeah, I can't think of anything that came out. I can't think of any updates or anything. I can't think of any controversies. I know Halo Infinite, still nothing on that. And well, I'm hopeful, but until there's actually any reas uh, reasonable, no. Oh, damn it, I lost the word. Um, substantial. There we go. Substantial news. I'll hold off on speculation. What about you? Is there anything you can think of?
Uh, there's been a lot going on for my stream wise, but in terms of gaming news, no.
All right. Let's pop into that then, since
Okay.
gaming is in a sort of well, everything's in a
Okay.
standstill.
Well, yeah. Well, okay. Well, couple of things. I guess there's kind of I'll go with that first. So, like, uh, I want to like skim over this as much as I possibly can, just simply because I know a lot of you guys are not wrestling fans, but like I'm big into wrestling, and sadly, this is going to be something that is going to be brought up again later. So, yeah. So basically, last podcast, I finished, or we finished, and I ended up doing a little bit of Cyberpunk, and friend of the channel, Andy, stopped by and said, "Hey, I want you to take a look at AEW Twitter feed." And before I got good news, somewhat the last time I heard something like that. So, but it didn't. It seemed a little bit more demanding. So when I looked at it, I got some of the worst news when I heard that John Hubbard passed away. 41 years old, great wrestler. He just got signed to AEW like 6 months ago, and he was doing a lot of good stuff. And he's also known as Luke Harper in WWE, and he was such a good wrestler. And they did like a whole tribute thing for him. It was so beautiful. It was so AEW and WWE, they're just kind of like they're at each other's throats all the time, fan wise, and kind of more. There's probably more animosity coming from like WWE, but in the end, like for one night, it seemed like all wrestling fans just came together on this, and I just thought that was just kind of awesome. And yeah, it was just a real sad, kind of tragic thing. Seeing his son at the end of Dynamite was just like, dude, he had his father's shoes, his boots that he wore when he was in character, and just placed them in the center of the ring, and they had the spotlight, and oh god, I teared up. I have not cried at the end of a wrestling show in years. So I mean that was just seeing something special right there. And he was John Hubbard. He was so funny when he was on Being the Elite. Being the Elite is really funny for wrestling fans. I think even some non-wrestling fans would even find it entertaining. Like hell, everyone got together and they actually did. I forget if I brought this up on the podcast before, but like they did a live action Among Us. So like and it happened slowly because like you notice that everyone was wearing like bright colorful shirts, and it's like, oh, it's exactly like in the game. And they started doing like tasks and everything. People were getting kicked out, and it was a live action Among Us, and I thought that was kind of funny. But like they just joke around, they have fun. A lot of them, they, even though they're pro wrestlers, they joke around and all that stuff. And John Hubbard was always funny. So it was just something nice and special, and at least for the tribute and all that stuff. And yeah, it was just really sad. So that was kind of like big news. And yeah, and besides that, on to better news. Well, basically, I am now a owner of a brand new PC. So
nice.
yeah, I know that came out of left field. Like, so the guy that put together my gaming PC basically called me up like a month or two ago, and he was like, "Are you interested in a PC?" And well, I wanted to know the specs and I wanted to know the price, obviously. Uh, i7 9700, no letter at the end, so that means like it's a stock CPU. Cannot be overclocked, which is fine. Does have integrated graphics, so that's check. The RAM is 16 gigs, check. And then the GPU was something like a RTX 2060. Wasn't really. I was kind of hoping to go like a little bit lower on that, just simply because like I kind of felt like I don't really need an RTX, but I guess I could take it or leave it. And then when he said the price, for one, I thought, "Are you selling me a broke ass PC? What the fuck?" He said it was only $400, and I'm like, "Dude,
What?
you could." Yeah, I know. So it turns out.
Please tell me you
So
didn't
this
say
guy.
anything and just took the money. Like, gave him the money and took the PC.
Oh, you bet your ass there was fucking questions. So like, I'm telling this guy, like, this thing is broken. This thing is, and it turns out there was a guy that we went back and forth, and basically, what I got out of it was the guy, he builds and like holds PCs for people, and basically there was a guy that was doing payments on it, and then he stopped, and when it stopped, he basically had a fully built PC, and he had two options. He could either scrap it for parts, or sell it off. And so it sounds like the guy just stopped payments, and he tried contacting him. He tried emailing him. He got nothing. So and he works out of his home, so like he needs every bit of space possible, and so he has to sell it off or break it down. And I guess he remembered me, so he called me up saying, all of this. And basically at that point, it was like, okay, is someone going to be coming into my door, wanting to know where the hell their PC is? Luckily, he was like, don't worry about that. It's all good. So I was like, okay, fine. I also may have said I was getting it for somebody, so that way, even if someone kicks in my door, I know to tell them that it's not here. And
Just don't give them my name.
so then, believe it or not, I actually was thinking of you, but luckily I did not name drop anything.
Great.
So. It was only because you had like your hard drive needed fixed and all that shit. So I don't know. But anyway, so basically, after all that, so yeah, like I was like, okay, well, I wanted time to think about all of this. I wanted to like analyze what I just heard, because from what I heard, it makes sense. Like, okay, if he works out of the home, and plus if someone buys a PC and they're doing payments, like if it stops, what do? You have it, so you're not necessarily, and if you build them for a living, you can use the parts. So like, it seems believable, but it seems too good to be true. 400, like, dude. And plus, here was the other thing I started thinking: why did he stop at 4? Why didn't he just go 8? Like, because you could probably get like $1,000 or however much. I would think it would be like worth, well, without knowing the storage on it, I would think you could probably get like 800, 900 US.
I mean,
out of it.
That's probably what it was. Like, I think the 400
Yeah.
he sold it to you for was maybe like, give or take, how much was left to pay off on it. So
that's what I originally thought. Like, what if, so like he probably had like only 400 left, but then I started thinking, what if it was only 100 and he doubled down on the 100 and just times it by 4? And I started thinking of that. Either way,
but still, that is a cheap ass PC.
Yeah, I know, right? So like it was a combination of too good to be true, and I just can't fucking believe it. So I bid on it, but I bid on it like half-assed. I said like, okay, at the end of the year, contact me again. I'll have an answer for you. Until then, you could see if anyone else is interested. Otherwise, sure, if it's still available. Well, New Year is still available, and I mean 400. I took it. So now I have it, and basically I just need to set everything up. He says it works, and even if it doesn't, I know who to contact and want my goddamn money back. So we're gonna see how things turn out. So I'm crossing my fingers that it's good to go. And tomorrow I'm gonna be working on that, and pretty much throughout the entire week, I need to set up OBS and all that stuff, get like a whole bunch of programs installed, and if all is good, yeah, this is kind of like a big deal for me, actually having a bona fide legit streaming PC. So
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, so like I already have a new Elgato for it, so it's like I'm all set up. I'm set to go on this, and yeah, so that's kind of awesome. Also, on top of that, today on my stream, I just got offered to do another podcast. So
Oh.
I have no idea. I to be fair, I didn't necessarily say yes, but I don't think I want to say no on it because it's someone who I met doing Persona 4 Golden. They came to my stream and they had issues with their version, and they wanted me to kind of help them out. And since I had issues with the game, I figured, well, I probably came across some of the issues, so I helped them. And yeah, haven't really seen and heard of him in a while, and then all of a sudden he's like he came by my stream today, and for some reason I brought up the fact that I was doing this podcast, so I'm gonna see what's gonna happen. I'm definitely not gonna stream it, but I am gonna do it off stream to see how it goes. And apparently I may have a podcast I'm gonna be doing on Friday if I could get all my PC stuff worked out, because if I'm still working on that, I'm definitely going to be focused more on that. So
Right.
I let him know. No promises, but so I'm going to see how it is. Who knows? Maybe there'll be some chemistry there, and if all works out, we'll see what happens afterwards. But right now, kind of optimistic. Just kind of someone I barely know. Yeah, and just kind of see where it goes. So yeah. Other than that, that's basically it. Other than me playing, finally finished Cyberpunk, but I'll probably get into that later.
This is a bad time to mention the exclusivity clause I put in our contract.
Well, see, that's the other thing. I don't really feel like this new podcast had like a whole thing with like even having me, I having the idea of like having a collaboration there. It just felt like, hey, I want to do a podcast. You mind being a guest? And it's like, we'll see what happens.
I meant that 100% as a joke, just so everyone's aware. That's a joke. There is no contract.
Well, yeah, of course, because honestly, if there was a contract, I will tell everyone right now, I think I deserve more money. I'm just putting that out there right now.
You know, you said a 71% split would be, would be fair. You know, I get 70%, you get 1%,
and I'm saying,
29% goes to charity.
See, I thought I heard. See, here's the thing. I thought I heard that charity was supposed to go to poor people, and I was like, wait a second, I'm poor, so that should be going to me, right? I thought that was the agreement. I demand a recount.
Oh my god. Shit. Oh, I'm lightheaded. Oh god. Ooh. Oh, I should stand up. I should sit up straight. Oh,
You should.
I should.
There's a lot to think about when there's 70% on the line.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Oh, what the fuck?
Oh,
are
but
we
seriously
doing?
though, we're just fucking around. We're just fucking around.
Oh
this
my
is
god. This is a
this
serious
is just fun.
podcast. God damn it. Did you hear me slam my desk? I don't think I don't know if I got picked up.
I don't know. I was laughing too hard.
Hold on,
I was
wait.
laughing too
Let me
hard.
just put my mic next to my.
Yeah, I heard
There
that.
we go. I just took off my headset, put it next to where I was gonna hit it. It just punched the desk. I hit it a lot harder than I wanted to. I'm just checking to make sure. Okay, I didn't hurt it. I didn't. I
Yeah,
didn't
the
hurt
last
it.
time I hit my desk, I completely knocked out my internet. So I guess I had the force from God. I don't know. It was weird.
You punch the Wi-Fi signals out of the air.
Except mine was hardline, so that made it even weirder.
Oh God.
True story. I'm pretty sure I was playing Yakuza Kiwami 2, and I came across a sub story. I'm like, this is why you can't do this shit. Why the fuck does it have to? Oh my, guys, I think my internet is what the fuck?
I like your. I like how you're like talking to chat and like, man, the internet's out, chat. I'm sorry. It's like, wait a minute. I can't talk to
Yeah, they can't
people.
hear
There's no
shit because
internet.
I'm completely down.
I
I'm
mean, unless you
completely
were
down.
recording, it, then I guess it makes sense to still do that.
And I can't do that because one, that would be a lot of data, and also because I guess if I recorded off of my gaming PC, it would be a little bit easier. But yeah, I'm definitely not going to do that through my streaming PC with OBS because usually when you do that, there's kind of like lag and stuff, and I kind of hate it when that
Yeah.
happens.
I hate that the
So
default setting is that it starts stream and starts recording. Like that's
yeah.
just like default, and it's like I was doing that for so long on my laptop,
Ooh.
and I'm still surprised like anyone freaking watched me in my early days of freaking Twitch. But then again, I guess Twitch wasn't really like 2015. Twitch was still kind of new. Like it wasn't brand new, but it wasn't.
Mhm.
I, when did it switch over from Justin TV? Like, tw-
I wouldn't know.
um, actually, I'm curious now. When did Twitch start? Because I don't think it was Twitch Wiki. Because otherwise, if I just type in Twitch, it's just gonna send me to Twitch. Um, oh, it launched in 2011, so it was 4 years. So fairly, mm, fairly new, I guess. Would you say 4 years is like, mm,
Yeah, I would call that new.
yeah, yeah, it was new. I guess it's kind of hard because the internet age has only been in the past like 20 something years.
Yeah.
It's like, what do you classify new as when it's such a short time frame? But semantics aside, um, do you have anything else you wanted to say? I mean, that's freaking amazing, and I hope
Yeah.
it works for you. Also, I feel
Same
like even
here.
if it doesn't work, I feel like you could probably, if you parted it, you could probably get more than $400 for all the pieces.
Depending on the pieces, yeah. I would have to assume like there has to be like a lot of shoddy work if that thing is not fully working. I'm sure even if it doesn't work, like there's got to at least be something under that hood that is still functioning.
Oh yeah,
So
if all the connected
yeah.
pieces aren't put together
Mhm.
right, well, as long as the actual important pieces are. But
Yeah, exactly. Uh, in terms of any other kind of type of news, not really. The only other thing that I could think of is I did kind of just yeah, I would say that it's an anime that's kind of new to me, and I kind of discovered it, but it was like around since like apparently 2000, and it turns out the Japanese version didn't really take off that well. So apparently, the story goes the English dub was given free range as long as they just did the events that took place. They had free range to kind of do whatever the hell they wanted. So they made the English version more comedic, and it's called Ghost Stories, and I'm loving it.
Hmm.
I binge watched the entire thing. It is freaking hilarious. I found it all started. I think I was looking up some music, and something came on, and I was like, I'm going to see what the hell this is. And it was like a whole bunch of like compilations of just like various clips. I actually thought that is this like a content creator just like dubbing over the actual anime? And then I saw like two clips that kind of like it was the same clip, but it overlapped a little bit. And I was like, wait a second. If someone was just doing their own content, this clip would have like two separate voices here or something, but it's all the same voice. And that when I saw that, I was like, oh shit, this is an actual anime. And so many people in the comments were like, it's all on YouTube, and some of the people in the comments they were like, "There's no fucking way this is an actual anime." Like they were blown away, and I was like, I was thinking the exact same thing, and I started watching it, and holy shit, is it freaking hilarious! I absolutely love it. Um, yeah, I'm trying to get a friend to watch it and see what he thinks. So, but yeah, Ghost Stories, I absolutely love it. It's so comical. So yeah, past couple of days I've been watching it. It's hilarious.
I've got a lot of shows, like both on Netflix and also some animes I want to get caught up on. Like I just need to
Mm-hmm.
be in the mood to sit down and just commit to it. I mean, it's easy once I do, but it's just like getting the like, all right, I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna binge watch this kind of
Mm-hmm.
mentality. Oh my God, I gotta, because apparently Sword Art Online actually is kept going, and it's actually kind of decent. I didn't know that
Right.
after Gun Gale, so I've got all that to catch up on. Final season of Attack on Titan, I didn't realize had started releasing on Crunchyroll. I have to start watching that. I've got like several Netflix series that I want to watch. It's like it's just a lot, and especially like with RB, and I'm like, I don't want to miss RB.
Yeah.
It's not like I can, well, I wish I could have it running. Well, I do other stuff, but the thing is with the anime, you can't really with a subbed anime, you can't really not look at it because you don't know what the fuck's going on because they're not speaking English.
Yeah.
So it's like you gotta actually pay attention to uh to it fully instead of like being able to just occasionally look over, get the gist of what's going on and kind of
Yeah.
thing. But God, that's at some point I'd love to watch the Phoenix Wright Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney anime.
Uh yes. I believe so.
Yeah, there's unfortunately that whole thing's locked behind freaking like I haven't found anywhere like it's not free on Crunchyroll to watch. You have to have like a membership. Like
Hmm.
whatever. But oh well. I don't know if it's available anywhere else. I haven't been able to find it. Or when I did look like a year ago. Oh my god, it was over a year ago. Like, I looked for it. It was like a year ago. There's probably more options out there now, but maybe. I don't know. You can't tell with some things. Or there were options and they got taken down because they're not, you know, entirely legal. Um, not that we endorse that stuff officially. Um, Here on the Dark Light Podcast, we do not endorse anything officially or unofficially. We are completely neutral or not neutral. Even neutrality is not neutral. So we just exist. Brought to you by the Dark Light Podcast HR team, Human Resources. No, it'd be PR. Why would HR be giving a public service announcement? um,
I have no idea.
I don't know either. I just said the first acronym that came to my head. Uh. Anyway, I guess I can. Guess it's my turn to talk about things. Or
Sure.
okay, wait, unless you had anything else,
Uh,
but
unless I talk about actual stream stuff, which is probably real quick because it's stuff I already kind of did.
okay, I mean, might
But
as well.
okay. So yeah, basically, stream wise, I finished Cyberpunk. It's freaking awesome. Easily one of my favorite games I've ever played. Definitely one of my favorite games I ever played in probably the past, I don't know, maybe like 3 years, I want to say. Or no, maybe more like 2 years. I've whenever I don't know. It's a toss up when it comes to Yakuza Zero, but it's really one of my favorite games that I've played in a long, long time. Even with all the bugs, this just hits everything I just kind of wanted. Uh, I'm just such a huge fan of just kind of like GTA, and when this game is essentially like Grand Theft Auto, only just kind of done in a futuristic world, and there's there was just so much that I just kind of liked out of it, and I'm still playing this game off stream, and I have no goals in mind. I'm just playing the game, and it's a single player campaign. I haven't done this in years, what feels like, and it's just so fun. I just absolutely love the game. I got 120 hours into it, and out of the 120 hours, I beat the game within like 25 hours in, and I just did side content the rest of the way, and I finally completed all of that stuff. I basically 100% of the game, or at least did everything I can do, at least that didn't bug out, and yeah, it was just so fun. I did another ending, and there is a huge difference if you actually do some of the story side content. There's definitely some characters that you run into in the main story that kind of they have like their own stuff going on. So even though you come across them in the main story, they do have like their own little side content that you could do. And I highly recommend doing all of those because it does give a different look and feel to the ending. And I want to say I think I did my favorite ending by far, mostly because you feel like your troops just kind of like banding together for this one big battle at the end, and it was just so awesome just seeing all of that. And I just thought it was great. It was a good ending. Little sad if you know like the stipulations and how it ends, but yeah, I did it all on stream and it was awesome. Just I just really enjoy it. I'm going to be talking about it more in the next podcast for when we do the games that we played for 2020. Which, by the way, real quick, I do need to know. I don't need to know your list, but
Oh shit! I was supposed to make a list.
I do need to know if you have 10 or 5 on your list because that does change the entire dynamic of the
Oh,
podcast.
right. Yep. When I
So
actually
if you
make the
have a
list,
top 10,
I'll tell you.
you know, I if we have a top 10, I think we could throw in clips and like artist of the week, but if it's a top 10, I think we could easily fill 2 hours with a top 10 going through both mine and yours. So just a heads up, at some point I do need to know if you have 5 or 10 on your list.
Okay.
So just telling you now. I don't need to know it. I just need to know how many is on it.
So, are we
So
saying
that
best games of 2020 as in games that released in 2020 or games that we
games that we
first
played.
played?
So like it doesn't matter if you played it off stream, doesn't matter if you streamed it. Any game that you liked, that you enjoyed, and you played in 2020. So, like for example, I actually have a laundry list of games. I made a list of 15, but I'm going to be doing that in basically the After Dark. I'm going to go over all of it because I have it broken down into like 3 categories, and I did 5 each is what I did. And yeah, I need to find that. There it is. So basically, my list, just kind of let you guys, just to let you guys know how big this freaking list is. So I have Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, Metal Gear Solid 5, Witcher 3, Iron Sight, Doom 2016 version, World War Z, Halo Combat Evolve, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3, Rise of the Tomb Raider, Yakuza 0, Persona 4 Golden, Payday 2, Helltaker, No Pixel Dating Simulator, Danganronpa Trigger Happy Havoc, Killing Floor 2, Remnant from the Ashes, Yakuza Like a Dragon, Cyberpunk 2077, Max Payne 3, Mafia 1, the OG original from 2002, Mafia 2, which I'm still going through that DLC, by the way, and Mafia 1 Remastered that was released in 2020. That's my entire list of every game that I played in 2020, and holy shit, it's a hell of a fucking list. And honestly, I actually, just looking over the list is just awesome. There's multiplayer games, there's co-op, there's single player, and there is some golden nuggets in there for sure. I do know a lot of people say that Witcher 3 is like their favorite game that they played of all time. In terms of Grand Theft Auto, San Andreas is like one of the best out of the entire series. And yeah, I actually have to pick between freaking Yakuza 0, Persona 4 Golden, and goddamn Cyberpunk. For
Ooh.
fuck's sakes, shoot me now. Jesus. But yeah, that's just a small taste of every game that I've played in 2020. So yeah, I'm probably going to be talking about all that stuff in the next podcast. But I do, just to reiterate, Dark, I do need to know if it's going to be 5 games on your list or 10. And after that, there's kind of like no limits. It could be a multiplayer, single player, just any game period that you played in 2020
I think
is
I
really
can
what it
make.
is.
I think I can make a top 10. I love that several of those first-time games for you in 2020 are also for me in 2020, and several of them I recommended to you.
Yes, that is true. I was recommended Helltaker. I was recommended No Pixel Dating Simulator. I do remember we played together.
World
I
War Z
didn't
and
know what
Remnant.
to anticipate when World War Z is the one I'm thinking of.
We also did Remnant too, with Lucky.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, we also did Remnant as well. That is right, because that was free on Epic. Yeah, it was. Well, actually, it was free on Epic, and then I decided I actually kind of like this game. I think I'm actually gonna actually buy it. And sure enough, I noticed the version on Steam. It was a case to where if I just get the DLC and everything, it's actually kind of cheaper to a degree. So because like think it was like I want to say like 35 is what I paid for, and like with DLC and all, it was like 40, and it
Hmm.
was only because there was a sale going on. So I figured, yeah, what the hell.
Yeah,
So and it was a great game too.
nice. Also,
But yeah,
hello, Dels and Rao. I didn't know that. Did you
hey,
know?
Delson.
Did you know that that Cyberpunk's being taken off it was taken off the PlayStation Store?
Yes, that is 100% true because the game was so broken they had to take it down. If you did buy it off of the store, then it is if you did buy it off the store, you will get updates and all that. But for PlayStation, it is you have to buy the hard copies in order to get them.
Huh. Wow. I guess it did. Cyberpunk did have a pretty rough launch.
Oh, it was really bad. It was really bad. The company took a hit financially with the stock market, and it's basically, and that's what I was kind of pointing out in the last podcast, is if it's as bad as I think it is, this game could I don't think it's going to bankrupt CDPR, but at the very least, I don't think there's going to be any more games that people are going to be looking forward to, because no matter how good it is, it's going to be like, oh, it's CDPR. Okay. Because this
Yeah.
was like the first game I think that they had that people were hyped over. Um, and it's bad. So yeah. And that's part of the reason why it just sucks that that's the way it is, because I love the game. I I had a hell of a time with it. I will say I did came across more bugs, I think, in this new ending that I came across, but it still wasn't that bad because I just had to like reload my previous save, and like everything worked out, but still that was, I did it what felt like multiple times, and it was chipping away trying to get to that official finale, but yeah. And then other than Cyberpunk, I'm now been going back into my Yakuza Like a Dragon uh, playthrough and doing the English voice acting, which is just, it's just awesome.
Nice. Um, we're coming up on an hour, which is insane that we've already done an hour. Do we want to do clips now and then I could talk about my stuff after? Or I'll just talk about my stuff and then we'll do clips.
It really does depend on if it's quick or if there's a lot to say. If you think there's a lot to say, probably do clips, but at least that's what I would do.
Uh, hmm. I guess we're getting to 5 minutes to when the break would be normally. So I guess we could do. Yeah, I guess we could do clips now. And then I'll just talk about RP and that later. It was taken off December 19th. You're going to buy it that day. You're going to buy it that day, then you heard that. Oh, that sucks. But also kind of sounds like kind of dodged a bullet too if it was that janky that they had to take it
Uh,
down.
and that's the sad part, is like I actually don't know when it's going to work on console. I honestly believe that PlayStation 5 is not going to fix the issues. Um I on Because the way the game is built, it's built like a PC, and with the PC you have to have like really good hardware in order to run it. So you got to have like a solid CPU, a solid GPU. And the thing about consoles, they don't typically always use the best hardware available. It does, it can do a lot of good, but it's not going to be enough, if that makes sense. So if you're really interested, you have to sadly go with a hard copy. If you're on PlayStation, it might still be available for Xbox, but I mean, if it got taken down off of PlayStation, I wouldn't be surprised if Microsoft followed up on it.
Yeah, hopefully. Well, is there? I'm sorry if you said this and I just missed it completely, but are they going to put it back up on the PlayStation? I assume they would, right? They're going to put it back up, or
The official quote from Sony is, we're going to take it down until further notice. So basically, I'm thinking they're waiting to see if there is actually going to be an update that's actually going to uh, actually fix everything, or at least most of the issues, to where it's playable. So that's all I know at the moment.
Hmm.
So, and again, for everyone that's on PlayStation and any console period trying to play Cyberpunk, I just hope it gets fixed, guys. I really do, because that is like legit the only negative on the game. Because when it runs, it really is one of my favorite games I've ever played. It really, really is.
Yeah, hopefully they fix that. Oh God, ow. Okay. Well, we got gonna do some clips. This is the segment of the show. I've never explained this segment of the show ever, and I don't know why I feel the need to explain it now, where we bring clips from other people's streams or our own streams. In my case, I think all my clips will be from my stream. Um, because I actually had clips. Crazy enough, I actually had clips on my channel. Um, so these are Liv's clips, and from what I'm seeing, there's three from Momo and then one from Silent Sentry. So we got the first one up here. If you wanna, is there any explaining?
Clip explains for itself, so yeah, just go ahead and play it.
All right. Help if I unmuted the page because
I was gonna say I don't hear any audio.
Yep, I muted all the pages because I was playing around with it while we were doing this to get all the clips ready, and I didn't want them.
I do
playing
the
in
same.
background.
I do the same.
Yep.
I just try my best to remember.
All right, let's go.
I'm the exact same.
This is the wrong room. This is the right room. No! That was the wrong room. That was also the wrong room.
Your sad face. I just love it. Oh man.
I love that progression. Just like, oh, this is the wrong
Yeah.
room. This is the right one. Nope, this one definitely was the wrong one. Oh God. Oh, here's one for Phasmophobia. Just play
Yeah,
it.
just go ahead and play it.
Are any of these you're gonna need to explain, or should I just play?
To be honest, I actually forget what some of them are. I actually do need to see this in order to remember.
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie.
All right.
Alright, here, you want to try use this one? I have 2 shots left on this camera. I don't know, she didn't show for me. Like, literally, I didn't see anything
She's just in the
unless you get
bedroom,
short
guys. She literally didn't do anything but like stand in the middle and dance. She literally just wants friends, I think.
Okay, give me
Momo, I need you to stop sucking up to this ghost, alright?
Yeah,
She's
me
nice.
as well.
Little friendly ghost.
It's trying to kill. I just killed Alexia.
Wait,
It's
she
just so
killed
friendly.
Alexia?
Choke the fuck out of Alexia, Momo. The hell kind of ghost you think this is? Shit.
Oh.
Takes one look at the chart. Oh.
Oh shit. Oh, she dead.
Okay, now I actually just a heads up, there is a little bit of a song that does play, but I think it's faint. So just to give you a warning. So I don't know if you want to like watch it and like then see if it's acceptable or what have you.
Okay. Let me just mute my desktop audio. Huh. It's
tough.
Yeah, that's really tough. I'm gonna go with a safe
Yeah.
no, but basically they're taking pictures and then someone plays a sound clip of "Look at this photograph" by Nickelback. Look at this photograph, and everyone's like, "Oh God, no, Nickelback." That sums up the clip right there.
Basically.
Okay, then we got a Silent Sentry one.
Yeah, this was actually one that I actually did not see it live, so I have no idea when he did it, but I didn't know that Silent Sentry kind of went back to GTA for a little bit. He was kind of off of it, and he's just kind of all over the place lately, so I have no idea when this took place. All I just know is something happened, and it was just kind of funny. And yeah.
Okay.
I'm trying to fucking light this shit, man. Oh, fuck! Run! Jesus! Oh, run! Fucking sis, run! Run! Fucking run, Winston! Run! Run! Yes! Yeah! Yeah! Fuck yeah, man! We fucking did it, man! Yes! Yeah! Fucking burn, motherfucker! This is a peaceful fucking protest! We will not be a slave to the capitalism any longer! Burn, motherfucker! Whoa.
Okay, we gotta get Winsong's help.
Yeah, hey, take Winsong to the hospital.
That was fucking amazing. That was fucking awesome. That was like an action movie. I'm
Yeah,
like,
I
I'm
know,
just
right?
watching him do it, and I'm like, oh, please, please tell me he makes it out of that, because it was so close to him dying so many times. I'm like, come on, just for the cinematography, come on, survive. That was fucking great.
Yeah. I will say this, when it comes to immersion RP, you have to watch Silent Sentry. This motherfucker, like, he knows how to frame a shot, he knows how to bring like anticipation to particular scenes. I've seen it. Sadly, I think they all got taken down by now, but I actually sent Dark a couple of streams a while back. Basically, there was a protest taking place in DayZ, and he was leading it. And there was a whole moment that I was just cracking up laughing when Silent Sentry actually said, "Oh my God, I want to Paul Revere this." So he went to another town saying, and I kid you not, "They're coming! They're coming! They're a whole bunch of angry protesters! You gotta get out of here!" And then they show up to town. "Oh my God! Well, what do they want? I don't know. They probably want money and other free shit. They're really stupid, dude." And so he's trying to like warn the townspeople. And then all of a sudden, they get on a megaphone and they're just like, "We want free money and shit." And he's like, he joins up with them. I was crying.
Oh my
I was in
God.
tears. It was so funny. Oh my God. It was, oh my God. And I sent that stuff to Dark because I was like, dude, I'm not going to say what takes place because it is so gold, but I think you need to see it. There is no way in hell a clip is going to do this justice. You have to see the stream. So I sent it to him.
I know. I wish I saw
I
it.
s- So I sent it to you because I knew you would fucking. I mean, do I need to explain more?
No,
A protest
you
in
don't.
DayZ. Like, do I need to say more? Like, and they were, and at the start of the shit, like even Silent Sentry was like, "I am not trying to harm you. Quick, does anyone have anything? Do you have anything non-lethal? This is only tear gas, people." He he actually grabbed, I think it was like a flashbang or a nade, and he actually tossed it. And I think he even said, Franco!
Jesus.
It was crazy ass shit, dude. And it was just so funny. It was just so funny. And then the other clip I sent, well, actually not a clip because it was the actual stream. There was a whole moment to where basically Silent Sentry was held captive in DayZ, and basically he had to try and talk his way out of it. And he basically found himself in a situation to where he had to kill a guy that was stripped down and tied down, and he had to kill him. And he really built up the anticipation on that. And it was so cinematic. It was so, I felt like I was watching a movie, and it was like my mind was blown. Like it was just so good. And it's like he doesn't just bring himself into the immersion, he brings his audience and chat into the immersion with him. And I just never see that with RP. And it's not something he does all the time because it's very niche. Like he has to have certain events take place in order for him to trigger that. But when it happens, he just makes gold, and it's just so good. So good. Also, one last thing, the clip that you just saw, there was some music playing, but you don't need to worry about it because basically Silent Sentry, ever since the whole DMCA stuff, he's been kind of on the ball with it. So he actually makes sure that all of his playlists are within Twitch regulations and that sort of thing. So if you did,
I was hoping.
so if you did hear music, you should be good. You should be good.
I was assuming so, that he'd be smart enough to not play DMCA shit.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So speaking of RP, we're going over to Wild West RP. These are all from my stream. I don't know why this is graphically bugged. Like for the first 1 second of the clip, it looks like that, but it's super weird. But these first two clips are from an RP wedding that I went to, and well, it's a different kind of shotgun wedding than you've ever heard of. So,
as one. Before we begin, if anyone present here today has a reason these two should not be lawfully joined in matrimony, speak now or forever hold your peace.
Excuse me, Miss Adelaide, okay? I have an objection. Oh my god, oh my god. I'm going back down. I have no objections.
All right, let the record show no objections were heard.
just no hesitation. I have no. All right, no objections then. And then this one.
These rings be assigned.
You pay attention to like the text boxes that pop up. That's where all the it's like in the middle of the freaking last little bit of the marriage thing, and then there's this side conversation going on in text boxes. So
that your love has a past, a present, and a future. Lucas, please take Adelaide's ring and place it on her finger, and then repeat after me. I give you this ring.
I give you this ring.
As a sign that I choose you.
As a sign I choose you.
To be my wife.
To be my wife.
And my best friend.
And my best friend.
These rings.
oh god. I muted myself during the whole thing because I was just dying laughing. Looks up at the sky. No one's up there with the sun up. Like, oh, they're in the middle of the freaking vows. And just, just that's taking place. Oh, this is an interesting thing. I mean, it really just speaks for itself. Really weird thing. I didn't know it could happen, but apparently it is a thing in Red Dead 2. So I'll just play this, and you'll see what I saw. Yep.
I think we must have a case of misunderstanding here.
Yes, sir.
I think she may have had a
Stubborn.
Uh-oh.
Oh my!
What the fuck? I didn't throw it. I didn't throw it. You walked into it.
You broke my fucking glass.
You walked into it.
What just happened? I was looking away.
You fucking broke my glass. My whiskey. What? I was drinking that.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
Damn it.
Oh,
no.
fuck. Oh, shit.
Sadie?
What the fuck just happened? So, yeah, apparently... Where... So, I'll play that back a little slower. Hold on. Let's go 25% speed and turn the volume off. So, he's right next to me, and I've just, and then I didn't throw it. I let go of the aim, so you do the flip again, so you're holding it the stabby way. And it's just, apparently, if someone's close to you during that animation, I guess the knife counts as an entity the same as being thrown. So if someone's standing next to you while you're just flipping the knife, you stab them. Like, I was just like, what the fuck? Well, yeah, obviously I was like, what the fuck? Oh, is this the one? Wait, one that's better than the other. That's 25 seconds. That's a minute, so that one's probably better.
He's like, oh, let me tell you this joke. And I'm like,
wait, where's this one start? I want to see which one of these clips is better. Oh, I muted this.
my name's Liberty Moses.
Liberty Moses.
Nice to meet you, gentlemen. You in trouble?
Okay, that's the prelude. So, okay. So, a couple months back, or like really early on, like back in, oh god, this would have been back in July. Well, I had, we just out in the middle of Valentine, and there was like Winifred Lockhart, who's a pirate character who was running for governor. I don't think at the time. Was she running for governor at the time? May have been running for governor at the time. I met her there, but she'd made this dead baby joke, and we just like we just come back from hearing it into the bar, and then this woman was there. And, we were talking about the joke, kind of. Just like, oh, what's the joke? And it's like, well, I'm not sure. I was like, oh, come on, Ryan, just tell the joke. I'm like, oh. He's like, yeah, I tell it, but I don't remember it. It's like, I don't think I remember correctly. You tell it. And I'm like, okay. I get halfway through the joke, and then it's a dead baby joke, and the woman I'm telling the joke to, RP, for her character, lost some children in childbirth. So she went off crying, and Eli has never let me live that down. And this is 3 or 4 months later, I think, from August, September, October, November, December. It's like 5 months later. 5 months later, this happens.
Yeah. He's like, oh, let me tell you this joke, and I'm like, you know, it's not a bad joke to be telling a woman, right? And he's like, oh no, it's fine. And I questioned him multiple times, and he insisted. And then he started into this joke about a dead baby. I had 2 babies die.
Oh no!
Yeah, you know, I happen to know that feller that told you that joke.
Don't tell me that was you.
Oh no, ma'am, it was not me.
Was it Mr. Things over there?
Ryan, you know who told that joke?
I think it was Winifred Lockhart. You know, I haven't seen her around in a while. Totally, that was her.
Ryan,
No,
Ryan.
I think it was a man actually that told that joke. Was that you, Mr. Hastings? It has been a long time.
Yep. It certainly has.
You recall it? I mean, I'm sure you probably do recall it.
Oh, I recall it because Eli never lets me live it down.
Yeah.
Just like we and Eli were just freaking out in character and out of character. What are the fucking odds? Like, that we beat her again like this, where she didn't recognize us. We didn't recognize her. When she starts talking about like about how forever ago this asshole in the Valentine saloon told her a dead baby joke. And I'm like, wait a minute, I'm that asshole.
Wow.
It's just like, you can't plan this shit. The stuff that happens in RP, it's just like, wow. I never thought I would see that person again. And then all of a sudden, just as soon as she said tell me a joke about dead baby, and I was like, oh my god. Just that sudden realization. Oh, fuck. And I just like to think that, mind you, this is 5 months later she's talking about this. So she has 100% told this story to God knows how many people. And I'm just like, thank God she never got my name. Because, man, just all of a sudden randomly known as that jackass who told that freaking dead baby joke in the Valentine saloon by just some random people would be fucking... Like, damn. That could not have been any more perfect. I couldn't have written that scene to go any more perfectly than that happened.
Do you hear what I hear?
No, what do you hear?
That sounds like a fucking YouTube video right there. If you were streaming and you actually have the scene to where you told a dead baby joke, splicey with this clip that we just saw. Holy shit.
Oh my god. Yep. Just to have it 5 months later.
5 months later.
Oh Lord. That sounds like... Okay, so... I'd have to watch back it again. I'd have to watch back that stream again.
That's the hard part, because now you gotta hunt. You gotta go through all those clips or all those streams and find that one moment.
Well, it was... I remember the gist of it. I don't remember the specifics, but that I heard the joke. We went into the Valentine saloon. Like, the joke, I don't remember who brought it up. Someone brought up we heard the joke. And Eli was like, I'd tell it, but I don't quite remember it. Ryan, do you? I'm like, well, yeah, but I don't know if I should be telling it. And he's like, oh, come on. It's fine. I was like, sure, okay, fine, whatever. And so I got halfway through it. And It's one of the most awkward things that has happened to me in RP. Like, I did think it through. What was I supposed to know? And yes, yeah, Eli has never let me live that down. And the fact that she has never forgotten that is just like, wow. That's memorable RP in a way. I like I'm not proud of it, but at the same time, unintentionally impactful.
Well, yeah, who would have guessed that a couple months later, not only would you remember that moment, but you and somebody else remember that moment. And it's the whole case of, we know, but we're not going to say. So.
Oh, I immediately was like, I don't think it was. Wait. I'm like, this is the person that said it. And Eli's like, Ryan, I'm not letting you get off that easy. I think I don't know. It's really hazy. That was back, that was like 5 months ago. I've done, like 400 hours of RP since then. So that would be I'd have to scrub through my old streams and try and find that. I have a rough idea of when it would be in my timeline, because it would have to be after I met Eli, but before Guarma 100%. So that's like 15 streams I'll have to look through. But you know what? That's actually a great idea, Liv. I'll hold on.
That's all I heard the whole time. I heard you explain all of this, like, because at first it went right over my head, and then all of a sudden you were saying, "Oh yeah, 5 months ago, all of this," and I was like, "Dude, you're telling me that you have the whole recipe for a YouTube video. You just need to actually find the parts, put it together, do the editing, bam."
Yeah, it shouldn't be too hard. I could just download the highlights right off of it, even with basic, just default movie editor on Windows. I could I can just cut around. So, yeah, won't be too hard. Now I gotta do that. Okay, I wrote that down. I'll probably work on that. I might work on that while I'm waiting in queue for RP tonight. But yeah, speaking of RP, let's actually talk about RP now. Oh my god, hour and a half already.
Because of passion.
Because of passion. I just love when we fly through the podcast and it's like, man, that's how I know it was a good one. Where...
Well, yeah.
Just wow.
I live for these moments.
Yes.
Streams like this.
It is
podcasts like this.
Just wow. Yeah. 100%. I'm gonna. Oh, you know what? I wanted to do. So this was something I'd have to find again the stream thing, but it's a running joke with one of the characters. My friend Kaler plays. Is mute character Belle. And it's like the joke is. So I can't remember how it started, but I started doing like a kind of like a typical like. You know how like an opening heist scene kind of set up where you're like, okay, we're gonna do this. You and you do this. Do, and then that. And every single time I ended it with oh god, I remember it was always Sadie and Belle because they were the two mute characters. I made them do the distraction. Just be like, use guns, make distraction. It's like, all right, you two do the distractions, and then. The other two people I gave like instructions to, and then I'll get away with the money. That was how I ended every single one. Is that I got away with the money, and I just wanted to I don't know how to do it. If I could cut into that and like rip the audio out of the highlight, and then I wish I was good at animation, because that would make like such a great like animate what I'm describing. Like just fancy, just be like animate what I'm describing or something like that. That would be that'd be hilarious. That was an idea I had forever ago. But I actually still have, I don't know what the video is, but I know it's somewhere between 3 hours and 30 minutes and 3 hours and 50 minutes into the video. So that narrows it down, maybe. But yeah, maybe I'll find that part and just clip it out and then just hold on to it until I think of maybe if I could ever use it in some way. But yeah, definitely a beginning, a before and after, the full circle of that, of the freaking, of my interactions with this one character who I've interacted with twice. So anyway, to do with normal RP, oh god, what has happened? Well, we went to that one wedding. Has anything significant happened? Stuff with, I think I was saying how stuff in the group isn't super great. I mean, they had a family meeting while I was in character. I just used it as an excuse to like go visit have my character be like, he was out of state visiting a friend, which was a good thing for my character to do while I was like, I'm like, just so my character's like, doing something. Well, I am like not playing them, instead of just being like, just kind of just wasn't around. They had like a family meeting, and Kaler, which I can't differentiate the player from the character because his character's named literally after him. So just Kaler, the character, is RP dying. He's terminal, which a lot of people aren't really that like. I think it's like I'm on board with it, that it's kind of a waste, but it's what he's decided to do with his character. So yeah, he's not going to start he's going to start rolling for if his character dies, every time every day he's going to log on, roll a dice, and if he hits a 1, then his character dies. But shit, why did I lose my train of thought in the middle of that? I just started thinking of 3 different things at once. Let's focus on one. Crap. This is what I get for going down side little things, and then I don't remember what the main bridge I was on. Oh, right, group stuff. So yeah, he's dying, and well, he's not going to die until he's talked to everyone he needs to talk to, because otherwise that would just be would leave unnecessarily leave RB unfinished in that. But that's something that's sort of affecting the group, and in general too, with I'll have Soul. He's great. He plays Declan. Declan Ryan does not. He likes him, but not in a. Well, he's sort of the de facto leader of the group, and Ryan really, really does not like him in that position, because he is not in any way competent to a degree that would, justify such a position that puts, and him doing, putting, people's lives at risk with his freaking antics and not telling anyone anything until it's too late to, be proactive about it. And I've been really, because the group's really trying to stick together, but I'm like, yes, we can have moments that are good, like last night where we had that big camping trip, and it was nice, and it was fun, and we all got along, but ultimately the group is just too big and too diverse of so many different people mashed together that there's no way it's sustainable. And I'm like, I kind of feel like a little bit of like a dick because I don't want Ryan to be like the person who, like, it's happening, and I've made sure to be like talk to some of the friends like, oh, see, like, I'm not doing a dumb thing here. Like, this is justified what I'm doing. And they're like, oh yeah, 100%. I'm like, okay, because I don't want to cause drama, or it's like I accidentally just misunderstood the situation. That would be great. But yesterday, finally, Ryan's found out that there are people in the group that are like basically done with Declan and sort of his sort of just how he's dragging everyone along. And thank God, shout out to B, who she's great. I wish I could RP with her more. Probably more in the future if I ever actually run into her. But she was talking to Ryan, and they started talking about Declan, and she brought up that Lyle was sort of starting to see the side of Declan. Like there's like a really not great side of Declan where you like realize he doesn't actually care about people, or like just kind of uses them more or less to his own benefit. Whether or not that's intentionally what Soul is wanting for the character, that's what the character is doing. And so Ryan needs to, at some point, have a conversation with Lyle, because there's like two main people in the group that could fill the leadership role, and that's Ryan and Lyle. However, both in character and out of character, I think it's the best idea that it not be like one person, that Ryan and Lyle working together would make the best sort of pairing, because Lyle is a lot better with the being personable, with being a much better presence than Ryan. Like, I can do that, but not consistently. And so he's got that side of it. And then I've got the more strategic, think things through, look at all the angles sort of look. So it's very complementary and is sort of what in character and out of character too. Because this is what happens when, you share the same, when you have a character that you just like, yeah, basically shares almost exactly the same mind as you, think the same things. That like when sort of like with Kalar and Declan, where Declan's the charismatic one, Kalar is the practical one, but not as charismatic. If they had to work together, it would have been a perfect pairing, but that's not what ended up happening. Things just kind of just drifted. So how things are going to break is when things are finally going to hit the tipping point. I'm not sure. But I'd like to get some sort of like behind the scenes, not like behind the scenes, but like before that happens, to kind of have Ryan talk to like at least Lyle and that, and sort of kind of get just where he's at, where he thinks things are going, and sort of figuring out if things do come to a head, what do we do? What can we do to minimize the damage? At least for like all the people we care about in our friend group. not like we don't care about everyone, but there's, you know, the friends we've had for months and the friends we met a couple days ago. Essentially, basically, like, the difference of, like, friends and family. Yeah, there's that going on, but at the same time, so I'm trying to plan. I actually have, it's started planning. People are making the characters of the one side story for Ryan that's going to take place, where his past is finally going to pop up in a meaningful, impactful way and try and kill him. Which I'm really hoping. The stipulations are, please don't actually kill me. Like, try and win, but please don't kill me, because I don't want to perma Ryan, because Ryan's just really me, kinda, and if he's just a really casual, like, easy character to play, and if you were to die, I'd want to make, I just end up making another kind of Ryan-esque kind of me kind of character again, because that's just what I have fun playing. Like, sure, playing like some other more intense or specialized characters every once in a while is fun. But just for like the normal, all the time, you know, I don't really want to play an intense specialized character like 100% of the time. You know, I'd like to be able to, you know, just have some fun, just sometimes. Which, you know, when freaking there's a tragedy every 2 seconds on Ryan, you start to wonder, is there any actual downtime at all? But so whether or not that storyline's gonna, when it happens, I'm going to have to do some more discussing, and I'm gonna have to find out more, like, when more of the stuff like in character is figured out of what's going on with the crises that are currently at hand, then I can easier think when about to start doing this, because I don't want this to be I don't want this event to show up and be another, like, it just delays the group falling apart kind of thing. But I don't want it to take forever to happen. So it's like very, just figuring out the timing for it's going to be interesting. But at the very least, I have the people, I have the sort of general idea, and, you know, it's there, it's in the works, and it wouldn't be too hard to get it going once we're like, okay, it's good to start having the ball roll. There's that going on. But then also, like, fucking our most recent crisis outside of the group was with Robin and the gang coming from the gang that it's sort of like she forcibly worked for back in Detroit, coming back to try and kill her. We killed them, and she kind of snapped with the combination of all, like, the stress and everything, and just Robin snapped. I was perfectly okay, like, Red and Robin trusted right enough to have him to, like, Robin cut up the 2 bodies that we brought back. There were 4 people. The one body was disposed of by Declan and Monroe. The 4th person, well, that was just a head, because apparently they had killed the person already. Like, that Crim group killed that person. So that was interesting, trying to be like, there's supposed to be 4 of them, but there's only 3, and it's like, nope, we got all 4, and I'm like, but there's only 3 bodies. It's like, yeah, we got the head right here, and I'm like, what the fuck? What? Well, aside from that, so Ryan had brought back one of the bodies, and then Red had brought back the other one to their house, to Red and Robin's house. And Robin is an undertaker, and what she used to be forced to do for the group back in Detroit was like cut up people and like hide the bodies. So she cut up all of them, and Ryan was perfectly like, okay, leave it at that. Wasn't going to tell anyone. And just leave it there. That was just like, with everything they put her through, I couldn't blame her at all. I was like, all right, let that go. Was it the next day? I think no, it wasn't the next day. 3 days later, I'm at the Take It Easy Tavern, which is Red and Robin's Tavern, and she comes up to me and she's like, hey, got this steak. You know, I've been trying to, you know, I want your honest opinion. How's this steak taste? And by the tone in her voice, she's such a good RPer with her voice and that. And I'm like, from the tone of it, I was like, there was something off. Like, she was way too happy about this. Like, some sort of like really pleased with herself about it in a way that just didn't feel right. But I was like, Ryan trusts her implicitly. So he ate it. And so did Charles and Stan. And then, out of character, I got a DM that's like, so how did Anthony taste? And I'm like, God damn it. I knew something was up. So, we started, the three of us started RPing that we weren't feeling too great, because, you know, when you eat human meat, that doesn't settle well with you. And eventually Ryan found it in character. And then, great timing for Kit to show up, Ryan's girlfriend. She almost kills Robin for doing that. And, well, Ryan's kind of fucked up now from that situation. I'm not sure how mentally, but I have made it so now Ryan is for right now not eating any meat, period, and the smell of meat also makes him sick because of the trauma from, you know, non-knowingly eating a person. Which apparently, fun little follow-up that's all out of character information. Robin DM'd me today saying like, so you want to hear something, just like, you want to hear something funny. It's like she went to the deputies to try and turn herself in. Turns out there is no law against cutting someone up and feeding them to people.
What?
Yeah, it's like they try. The most they could charge her with was, I think, battery. Was battery. That was the only thing the deputies could find in the law book to charge her with. I'm just like, really?
Yeah.
I mean, this is, bear in mind, like 1899 kind of law, so it's different. But I could have sworn, like, I would have imagined, like, that a desecration of a corpse would have been a crime, but apparently it isn't. Or maybe they didn't think of that. I don't know. But like, there's so many things in there. I'm like, how? So basically, you just told them, hi, I cut up a person and fed it to my friends, and they basically just gave her a timeout. Like, you know, just sit in the corner and think about what you did. But yeah, that was really interesting. And like, kudos to to the person who plays Robin. Yeah. You just come back and hear that? Yep. Yeah. Fun things going on in RP. But absolutely kudos to the person who plays Robin for doing this. Like, it makes sense for the character, like, after all the pressure that she snapped. But I can't imagine, like, doing something like this is it's a point of no return thing where, like, it's not going to end well. There's no way it's not going to harm everything that the character's built. But having that sort of, like, dedication and being able to be like, yeah, it's going to suck that all this stuff is going to happen. Like, she's going to lose she's 100%, she's going to lose her medical license, her coroner's license. She's never going to be allowed to work on people or dead bodies ever again. Probably never be allowed to do anything with food ever again. And also, like, her newlywed husband was in the middle of doing some business dealings and that with, like, the government, and, well, now his wife's gone and done that, so, but, like, it's just, like, all this crazy stuff, and so impactful, and just, like, so many consequences to that happening, and just kudos to her for committing to the character in that way, like, being true to the character and going through with it, even though it meant giving up all of this stuff. That's just, like, super props to her for doing that. I mean, I can't imagine it was easy to be like, okay, so I'm gonna do this. I'm fully aware that it's probably gonna be found out about, and I'm gonna lose all of this stuff that means that sort of my character's worked up to. But that's just how RP works sometimes. Other than that, I don't think there's anything else. That was all the major stuff. All this ongoing stuff, too. I'm really, really hoping at some point. I'm going to talk about something else, but did you hate when they killed off Arthur Morgan from Red Dead Redemption 2? Not really. I mean, I kind of didn't expect. Honestly, I forgot all the people from the old group that are alive in the first game. So I didn't remember Uncle at all from the first game. Apparently he was in the first game. I don't remember him.
Yeah, he was there.
And I remembered vaguely. I remembered Dutch because he was the leader, but I didn't remember Bill or Javier. Who Javier, like, he's there twice in the story or something in any meaningful way, which I kind of like that they didn't just because it's like, oh, he's one of the people that's in the next, or that's in the previous next game. That makes sense because it's second game, but it's a prequel to the first game. In the messed up way that works in your mind, that they didn't just, like, make Bill or Javier, like, super prominent just because they were characters that are already established, which, I appreciate that, because, not literally every single person who survives is going to be, like, a high up member. In fact, like, usually like high up members in criminal organizations are the ones, yeah. Started to like Arthur, then they gave him tuberculosis. Yeah, they give him tuberculosis at a very... Yeah, I think story beat wise and character development wise, they hit it at a great point where you're now like, you're like, man, you're getting attached to the character, and then bam, they hit you with this. And you know it's coming for a long time. Well, I mean, if I knew the TB thing was a thing, and you get that so early on, and it takes forever for the symptoms to actually show up in the story. I say forever. I spent so long just doing all the side stuff and finding collectibles, so it might not actually be that long if you actually just play through the story. You know, like some people who just, you know, just do the story missions. But do I? No, I don't really have a problem with Arthur's death. I think it also, like, I did the because there's the two things you can do. You can either help John escape, or you could go back for the money. And I did the, you know, the not go back. I went for the one where you help him escape. So that sort of set a tone that was a lot more... I haven't actually seen... I think we've talked about it.
We
talked about it. I don't remember. I've never actually... It's hard because I've never actually seen it, of when you do the other way. But from what it was described, if I remember, the vague impression was it's a lot less impactful than that one. Mostly because, you know, you kind of died doing a really selfish thing instead of like, you know, you've been trying to help John this whole time. And then all of a sudden at the very end, you're like, nah, man, but the money. Even though you've been...
No, it's the same ending.
Okay. But the lead up's different. And I like the lead up with the more selfless death better.
It's all the same. It's
Is it
just
really?
setting.
Oh. Well, okay. I like
for the most part.
Okay, well. Then
I
no.
actually seen the one to where you go with the money. Scene wise, I mean, if I remember right, I think the one that we both went with was kind of like, I would say, the more graceful ending, but the one to where you do take the money, I want to say the fight, it looks so much better. It looked way better because you have a ring of fire around you and you have to fight within the fire, and the setting, that look, just it looked so good.
I mean, yeah, but just in general, I didn't mind it. I would have been... I was like, no. Like, I was like, I was hoping they'd let you kill Micah as Arthur, but about, like, Arthur can hardly freaking keep his own at that point. And I'm like, at this point, I'm just like, don't let Micah kill Arthur. And I was like, okay, they didn't have Micah kill Arthur. He just kind of succumbed to it. To his, well, getting beat the shit up didn't help, but then again, he was already basically gone, like, with tuberculosis. So yeah, I didn't have a problem. I thought his send-off was... I mean, it's sad and that, but, you know, he was... Even if you play like an honorable character, like, he did bad things for reasons that were sometimes good, or, well, it
depends on your playthrough.
Yeah, it depends on your playthrough, but, you know, it's not like he... I don't want to say like he... Well, I can't think of how to word this properly, so I'm just going to not say it. He's really not mentioned in Red Dead Redemption. I don't think 99% of the people are mentioned in Red Dead Redemption, which is the one thing that I'm like, I wouldn't play Red Dead. I would never recommend someone to play Red Dead 2 before Red Dead Redemption, because then you if you play Red Dead Redemption 2 and then you played Red Dead Redemption, suddenly like there's no significant fleshed out backstory for the gang or the gang members. Like there's enough that it's like it's good for within the story purposes, and it's more than enough. But for there being like, if you play Red Dead Redemption 2 and then play Red Dead Redemption, there is no references to literally anything in that game. Except maybe, I don't know if Blackwater's mentioned. That seems like something that maybe would have been mentioned in the first one, because it's very prominent in the second one from the get-go. But I don't remember.
It's the final area.
Yeah. Hate the ending to Red Dead Redemption? No, it's fitting. It's basically the end of the Cowboys. I mean, it's is it 1909 or is it 1911?
Are you talking about 1 or 2?
1. It's 1899 for RDR. 2.
Well, if I remember correctly, the 1911 I think is in RDR 1.
Okay, so it's 1911. All right. So basically, like,
if I remember correctly, I think the 1911 is in RDR 1. If I remember right.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, it kind of sucks that, John dies. Spoiler alert for a game that's over 10 years. God, really old game. That, John dies at the end. But you go out in a firefight, but it's very much throughout it. You can see like it's the death of takes place in 1911. Okay. It's the death of the Wild West. Like, it's over. Like, John's like, and his group, even in Red Dead Redemption 2, which is 12 years earlier, they're no longer wanted in the new world that's coming about, because the cowboy age is done. Like, civilization's coming, and people are just done with cowboys and that sort of frontier life. Because progress has come, and, actual proper government control over those colonized territories. And so it's like, in Red Dead Redemption 2, it's like the dying breaths of it. And in Red Dead Redemption 1, it's like your antiques of an era that's just, it's over. Like, Cowboys are over, and you're just sent to you're forced into just helping the Pinkertons clean up the last antiques of a no longer desirable part of American history. Except, in like movies and stuff, but for the cowboys to actually still be alive and outlaws and that, it's like, nah, just keep them to little dime a dozen books. You like the extra mission with Jack? That was good. I like that too. Where you kill it's Ross, right? Ross is the guy. Yeah, because it's Milton and Ross in the second one. But I was like, oh, Ross is the main guy from that. So I'm like, okay, so at some point Milton's gonna get it, and Ross is gonna take a step up. Because I'm like, I did like Milton's character as like an antagonist, sort of, even though I knew he was a character that's like, okay, he's gonna die, he has to, for just, story-wise. But
right.
I liked his character as an antagonist. I mean, to be fair, you could say that with all villains, where it's like, the villain's gotta die. So, it's just, for sure, because, well, the guy playing second fiddle isn't playing second fiddle 12 years later, so. Anyway, yeah, I think I'm gonna have a hard time thinking of Red Dead Redemption 2 and going to the top 10 list we want to make for like games we played in 2020. I don't know where I'm gonna rank Red Dead 2. That's gonna be really hard. Like, would I count RP separate? Like, would I technically count RP, like Red Dead Redemption 2 RP, as separate from Red Dead 2? Or like as an added on bonus that you can do with the game?
I mean, call it what you want, it's still the same mechanics of RDR2, so I would think it would be all one, personally, but that would just be me. If you want to separate the two, I suppose you can. I mean, there's kind of no except, can you actually label a game RP, I guess? And is that like a sales pitch that you could buy on Steam?
I mean, not on Steam, but there are like NoPixel. You have to pay to get into NoPixel. So there are, if you want to say like buy, like, there are servers, RP servers that you pay to participate in. So it's, in that way, they can be like a game if you want to compare it to just like you can purchase, the ability to play it. I don't know. That's just some semantics I'll have to figure out. I don't know. It's just all of a sudden that question popped in my head. I'm like, I don't know. Oh well, I'll deal with that later when I actually make the list. If I can't think of 10 names, if I'm like stuck at like 9 names or like nine games, then I'll split Red Dead, and then I'll like 100% I'll split Red Dead and RP so I can fill out the 10. But other than that, maybe I'll just have like an honorary, like, not officially have it as a spot, but be like in like honorary this place I put it, but it's not officially there. Actually, that sounds like a great idea.
Because another option that is possible, you could just do a top 5 and then just have honorary mentions.
Oh, I could literally just do an honorary mentions, yeah. Yep, that's true. Wow.
All I just need to know is just officially like 10 or 5.
Yep.
Once I have that understanding, then we'll just... because I almost kind of think that we could easily just do honorary mentions if there is any. So.
Yep. Totally. Yeah. Yeah. I'll figure I'll figure it out at some point. But yeah, let's 2 hours into the podcast, let's start doing our victory lap here with Artist of the Week. I don't have an artist for this week. I couldn't think of anything, and I just couldn't think of any artists I really wanted to do. So I don't have one this week, but Liv does, and he's probably got more than enough to make up for me not doing anything.
Yes, I do. Which is why, since Dark was the one that said, I kind of feel uncomfortable sometimes when you talk about your certain artists. So I'm going to go ahead and just start off by saying, okay, well, here's a thought. if you don't have anything good to say, don't say it at all. My mom taught me that one. And also, since I'm going to be talking about pro wrestling, Dead Avenue, I'm also going to be talking about the military. So maybe there's something else that you could do since I'm going to possibly tell an interesting tale. Here's a thought. I know there's a certain particular European metal band, wink, wink, that happens to do military battles, wink, wink, through song. Maybe now would be the time to look up Wikipedia, wink, wink, in order to see if there is any particular song that you would like to bring up. And you could counter my interesting story with another interesting story. So just food for thought. And with that, my artist of the week, I went with Tom Waits. Tom Waits was a name that I came across years ago, actually on a reality show, and I thought it was kind of interesting. It was a show they like build motorcycles, and the paint job he decided to go with was kind of like inspirations in his favorite music. And he had like a crossroads that was supposed to be a symbol for a previous artist of the week that I went with, Robert Johnson. And I also remember the name Tom Waits coming up in that, and I never heard of him, and I was like, probably gonna try my best to remember that. That was years ago, and I never did that. And then fast forward to something more recently when we started doing this podcast, and I started trying to think of names, and then all of a sudden I was like, wait, I remember coming across Tom Waits, and I was like, oh, I'm probably gonna. I actually never listened to him, so I think I want to put him on the list. So I put him on the list for Artist of the Week. And fast forward to more recently. So the day after Christmas 2020, John Hubbard passed away. And I kind of already mentioned that at the beginning, so I'm not going to go into that. All you just know is he's a damn good wrestler, and he would be greatly missed. He was truly one of the good ones. Not too many people, nobody really has anything bad to say about him. He was just a really good guy, great wrestler, and I really enjoyed watching him. And at the end of their All Elite Wrestling Dynamite, their weekly show, they did a video package for him as they faded to black. And they did this really beautiful tribute package. And it was like showing them in the indies, it was showing them in WWE, it was showing them in with AEW guys, and it was just really cool. And I noticed that they used Tom Waits' song Old 55, and I never heard the song before, and just something about it, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go with it, screw it. So I ended up grabbing the song. That was actually the very first song from Tom Waits that I ever heard. And so yeah, I was like, well, we're going to be doing the podcast, so I figured, well, we're going to be doing Artist of the Week. So I decided to go with it. And I went with Tom Waits, and I still needed a couple other songs, so I started skimming through some of his songs and wanted kind of like a jazz, I kind of wanted blues. And then I came across Hell Broke Loose. When I came across this song, I thought, man, it's really powerful. It's got good percussions, very almost kind of like blues metal, almost kind of like dark country. And I actually do have a lot of dark country musicians out. I can't wait to get to. But then again, I got like however many artists. So, and yeah, I just really like the song, but I couldn't help but notice, why did they go with Loose like a name Luce. Why didn't they just go with Loose? Well, come to find out, it turns out it was a person. The song is actually a tribute to a war veteran by the name of Jeff Michael Luce. His nickname was Lucy. And so apparently in I think he joined the military somewhere around like 2003, I believe. Basically, September 11 happened. The United States was attacked, and we declared war. We went to war with Afghanistan, Iraq, various countries throughout the Middle East. And yeah, so when that happened, Luce was one of the guys that signed, joined the military. He joined in, and when he came back a very changed individual. And he started telling all of his friends and family that I'm a murderer, that I did all these horrible acts. He had a very disillusional mind. He suffered from a severe case of PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, and he could have swore that he could actually feel people touch him on the shoulder. And of course, he would turn and look, and nothing's there. He also swore up and down that he would actually be able to hear camel spiders crawling around his room. Camel spiders are not native to North America, but they were in the Middle East, where he did his tour. And basically, he was seeing things, he was hearing things, and it just got really, really bad. And it was to the point to where it really scared his family. So they started anything that could do any harm to him. He started the family started like taking all that stuff away, so that way hopefully worse won't come to worst. And one day his father came home, and he thought his son was just standing there, and it turns out Luce ended up hanging himself with a garden hose that he bought. And when that happened, obviously his father was very saddened, and he took his son down, and he said that it was his son was the most happiest he ever seen him. And of course, when that happened, I guess Tom Waits heard of this tale, and he kind of immortalized him through this song, Hell Broke Loose. And when I first heard it, I thought, well, it's hell broke loose, destruction all around us. But it was more of the hell of war broke Jeff Michael Luce. And when I heard that, I was like, I originally just picked the song because I liked it. And then now it's like, it's just a little different. I kind of take a shine to those that join the military. Obviously, I do have to remind myself that some countries, they going to the military is mandatory. Here in the U.S., it is optional unless there's a draft. And so when I heard this story, like it was definitely different, and it really took me by surprise. And all of a sudden, like I really like the song, and I thought it was really good. And it is really sad if you know the tale and you know how the song ends. The song ends, what is next? And hearing that, of course, well, now you know. And yeah, so kind of interesting how it just kind of started out with just one tribute with a pro wrestler and ended up with a war veteran. And I could sit here and tell you how long Tom Waits been in the business, how good he is, but
sometimes there's just certain particular songs that's a little bit more it's a little bit more impactful, a little bit more important than just hearing what one particular musician just came up with. And yeah, that's kind of what I discovered, and I thought it was interesting, and I figured I'll share it with you guys. So yeah. And believe me, that was a little tough trying to get through there. But yeah, very, very interesting. So now, Dark, I hope you gave it some thought, but I think it's safe to say this one doesn't need to be graded, if you know what I mean. But
yep.
If you gave it some thought, is there anything else that you would like to add, or should we just move on?
I've given it some thought, and I will be talking about the history behind one of Sabaton's songs, "The Last Battle," which is the last battle about the last battle that happened in World War II. This happened 5 days 5 days after Hitler committed suicide, but 2 days before Germany's unconditional surrender. And it is one of the strangest battles of the entire war. Like, would you believe me if I told you that a former Wehrmacht officer, an SS officer, and an American captain defended a medieval castle from the holding French prisoners of war from the SS?
That is one hell of a story. Now, I hope there's more detail than just that.
There is more detail than just that. Actually, Liv, while I'm thinking about it, I'd send you you'll have to remind me to send you a video that talks a lot better about it than I will here, because it is a really interesting story. But I'll try and do my best. So it's the 5th of May, 1945. Hitler committed suicide 5 days ago. War's going to, like, basically, Germany's going to surrender in 2 days, but no one knows that. But the writing's on the wall. It's over. The SS it's in occupied Austria, and the SS are, like, a lot of them are just, like, giving up on that, and others are taking their last death blows at the occupied peoples that they are taking care of. Well, taking care of, I should say, by shooting them. But essentially, Castle Eiter in Austria is like a medieval castle that dates back to doesn't say what the date is right off. Really, I can't find an easily accessible date for it, but it's a medieval castle, and it had been converted to a prisoner of war camp where they held the former French Prime Minister, along with several other French VIPs, including other French resistance and French generals. So they were all held up in this castle, like prisoner of war camp. And the commandant of the camp, well, killed himself because, well, war's over. He shot himself. The SS commandant shot himself, and the guards dispersed. So the prisoners came out, and they're like, oh, well, no one's here anymore. So they went out, and they're like, oh, we could just leave. So they went out to Castle Eiter. They went out of the city down to Eiter itself, and immediately turned back because the city was still under SS occupation. So what they did was they knew that it wouldn't take long for them to realize that for the SS to realize that they were there and that they were a loose end that they would probably want to take care of. So they sewed themselves a tricolor, flew it from one of the towers, and they sent out the cook to make contact with anyone who could help. And he made contact with a very strange member of the Austrian resistance, a German Wehrmacht, was he a major, who had served in literally like all over the war, from I think from like Poland, France, in Russia, and in Normandy. Like, he was a decorated war hero who'd fought everywhere in the war, and had eventually become disillusioned with Hitler and defected to the resistance. And somehow, no one knows how. There's no like information as to how he managed to get the trust of the Austrian resistance and become such an important member as he did. But it really doesn't matter, because there he was. So they made contact with him, and so he went out to try and find help too. And they came across a American tank group. And well, as much as the Americans were like, the American tankers were just like, the war's basically over. They don't want to die for just a bunch of French people they don't need to save. But their captain was like, hell yeah, let's go on a rescue mission. So together, with the German major, so now we have American soldiers, and then the German major, and then German soldiers who were loyal to that major, marching off to this castle to go and save it. And there were 4 tanks in the American brigade. They left one behind at a city they came across, just in case the SS came back and tried to do retaliative strikes. Then they came to the bridge before they would reach the castle, and the captain left the 2 other tanks there, because if that bridge was taken, no one was getting out alive. So they went in with 1 tank, and there was like, in total they got to the castle, and like in total it's like 36 people, and that's including the prisoners too. So 36 people hold up in this castle. They park the tank in the gatehouse and just wait until proper relief can show up and liberate them. And okay, so the SS officer guy comes in at some point. I'm not great at explaining things. But he had sort of done all he could to delay, like sort of give them enough time to like delay the SS from doing anything about the castle. But if there was an attack ordered, he was not in a position to stop that from happening. So he delayed that for as long as he could. So then, here they are, stuck in this medieval castle, and shots start firing out. And now they are fighting for their lives in a medieval castle against a crazy battle-hardened SS, trying to scale the walls and like basically just kill them all. So they're just holding out like a whole... I'm trying to think, like, I don't recall how long it lasts. It's like several hours of just intense fighting and it's like the only time in the war that American and German troops fought side by side. And they're just fighting off these attackers. And eventually, things are starting to get desperate. The tank actually gets blown up, but thankfully but luckily the tank crew managed to get out of the tank before the killing blow was delivered. Actually, the only person who died was the German major, who was shot by a sniper when he tried to get the former French Prime Minister out of harm's way, which the irony of a German taking a bullet for a Frenchman is not lost on me. So they basically, the SS had pushed them off of the main walls and pushed them back to the tower, and in a last sort of like call, the American captain gets on the line. It's like, we need reinforcements or we're not going to be here. And just as he's finishing that, a shell hits the tower and the line goes dead. So it's like they have no idea if reinforcements are coming. So they're holding out. They're almost out of ammo completely. And just as it looks like they're going to be overrun, the tanks that they'd left behind show up and start opening fire on the SS and drive them off. And then additional U.S. infantry show up and secure the castle. So that's kind of oh, hey, Hollow. Talking about Castle Eider? I am, yeah. Yeah, that's sort of my not super great explanation on it. There's like better videos that explain it better, but that's kind of me saying my half-assed explanation of that.
And just to reiterate, if people was following that, that is a song from a metal band, and it was Last Battle.
The Last Battle, yes, from Sabaton.
Permission to post the link to the video, or
yeah, go ahead.
All right.
Oh wait. Oh, you're a VIP. Yeah, you can do that.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So yeah, that's that. It is a great song. Hollow there got me into Sabaton, so
Oh, it was Hollow that did that.
Yeah. He's like, you like history, right? I'm like, yeah. It's like, do you like metal? I'm like, kinda. It's like, well, here's a metal band that sings about history. I'm like, sure. But yeah. So that's all I have to add.
All right.
Okay. So, oh, right. Yes, I'm the host, so I got to.
Yeah, which is why
right.
I'm kind of waiting for the next cue of what we're doing here.
Right. So, we're gonna be wrapping things up now. Liv, is there anything that that you want any last minute things you want to say?
Pretty much. I really probably need to get some sleep after this, just mainly because I need to try and get up bright and early. I got stuff to do tomorrow, mostly an appointment with the PC, and I got to set that up. So because of that, and there's other stuff as well. So I basically, whenever I fall asleep, hopefully right after this podcast, I could get up, do a stream, stop, and then continue on whatever I have to do. So because of that, I'm going to be actually doing a stream basically in a few hours, however long I get sleep, basically. So I'm going to be doing a stream like really early in the morning, like 1, 2 o'clock. I don't know how long I'm going to be going, but it's yeah. So I need to, there's stuff I got to do tomorrow. So yeah, first thing I'm going to do is just do that. And that way I could hopefully get everything set up and get it done. Also, I had no idea that Delson was the one lurking on us. Delson's actually the one that stopped by my channel earlier today and said, you interested in doing a podcast? And so yeah, me and Delson, we're going to be doing, it's not going to be streamed, at least not with me. but we are going to be doing a podcast on Friday. So, obviously, if all goes well, I'm going to be uploading that if I feel it is worthy, so to speak. And yeah, I hope it goes well with the podcast. It was kind of his idea, so yeah. And other than that, yeah, I'm gonna be doing some Yakuza Like a Dragon because it's just a fun game. I like it. Still going through my second playthrough, and other than that, I kind of got nothing. So that's all I'm doing.
All right. And as for me, stream-wise, probably well, we're going to be doing more. We're going to be doing more RP. Um, I think I'm going to have to, at some point, be like, okay, gotta schedule some other days to do stuff. Like, I want to get back into Yakuza 0. It's been forever since I played it. So, I want to get back into it, because that was fun. Maybe, like, try and do it once a week, maybe? I don't know. Oh, I don't remember if I mentioned this or not about the idea I had forever back. I think it was back in October or November. I had an idea for like an emote that would be uh it's a horse emote based off of my horse that's in RP. It'd be like
Right.
a Moxie emote, and it would be like a sassy kind of like be like a sassy horse emote that looks like Moxie. And that's sort of like the idea I had. And I'm like, cool. But I didn't really no, I kind of looked into it a little bit, and then I kind of fell to the wayside. And then I brought it up um when I was chatting with a bunch of my RP friends outside of RP, obviously. And one of them was like, "Oh, well, this person, one of the people I know, um, in RP, from that sort of like RP community, does like art in that." So I've unfortunately like it's not happening right now because she's working on like a huge commission, right now, but she is open to uh, she's open to it, but not like right now until she's done with what she has already. So at some point in the future, there's gonna be a new emote, and I'm really excited to see how it turns out. I think it'd be fun. Also, be like like one of the first I guess stream think stream related emotes, if that makes sense. Like all the other emotes are based off of like my 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 character persona, my username, but this will be like the first thing that's like from something that's happened on stream. So, and I think it'd be a cool thing. I'll probably uh barring unlocking another sub spot, I'll probably temporarily replace the Dark Fox Cool one for the Moxie one. And then I'll add that back in once we get another sub slot. But yeah, that's something that don't know when that's happening because I don't know when she's gonna be done with it. But done with first her commission that she's doing right now, and then she has to, actually do the one I'm requesting, which I don't know if, because most people who do, like, I don't really ever see artists like advertise for just doing one emote, so it might be a case of I need to come up with a couple, which I wouldn't be against. It'd be kind of fun. Try and come up with some just fun ones. But yeah, that's all I gotta say. Going on over here. So yeah. Yeah, I'm assuming you're all you haven't thought of any last minute things to say.
No, other than it's probably going to be weird doing starting a stream 2 in the morning. That's going to be. Well, to be fair, I did do that, but it was specifically to actually catch a Yakuza. What was it, like a Yakuza like 25 anniversary thing? But
Oh, that thing, yeah.
yeah, that was a while back, and yeah, I mean, I started my stream at that hour just to do that, but this is to actually do an actual stream for me, nothing in particular. So that's going to be normally, if anything, I'm finishing at that hour, but yeah. Anyway, I'm just going to be busy tomorrow, so it's around 2 in the morning, 1, somewhere around there. So just see what happens.
Alrighty. Well, that's going to be the end of the podcast. Stick around, though, if you want to see RP, because I'm going to be switching over to that. But now to do the outro, so Liv can cut this. So thank you very much, everyone, for watching, and we hope to see all of you next time on the Dark Live Podcast. Bye, everyone.
Bye.